What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick on that grind cactus, and today Grandmaster Nightfalls have just gone live within Destiny 2 Season of the Risen. So we have the guide for how to complete the Scarlet Keep, the current weekly Nightfall on Grandmaster difficulty, as fast and easily as possible. Although all of the different strikes are available in a separate node to complete on Grandmaster difficulty, you can only do each of them once, so if you're interested in farming those hot exotic drops and Ascendant Shards and Nightfall weapons, you're gonna have to do the weekly available one, the Scarlet Keep. But if you're gonna be grinding Grandmasters, you need that energy and that focus to be on your game. That's why you gotta have Advanced GG, baby, the best and only clinically proven gaming supplement out there right now, guys. For the next few days, it is 25% off if you use code KHD25. Absolutely get on those savings. Try it out. There's so many amazing flavors: Cactus Kiwi Lime, M-Tash Mango Splash, Frostbolt, Electric Berry, Mr. Fruit Cherry Limeade, and more. Definitely check it out, link in the description. But on to the guide. First things first, let's talk about the loadouts myself and my teammates were using. So I was playing a Titan, specifically a Sentinel, using Bubble. Then I've got Shield Throw, Vortex Grenades. For my aspects, I do have Controlled Demolition, which is going to make your grenades so much more deadly, but Offensive Bulwark would be great as well. And then Bastion is just so darn good. For my fragments, I've got Echo of Undermining to cause a weaken effect when I hit enemies with my grenade. I've got Echo of Leeching for that health regeneration when I get a melee kill. And then I've got Echo of Remnants to make my Vortex Grenade last longer. In terms of weaponry, I am using a Judgment Hand Cannon, specifically with Demolitionist, just to get my grenade back so much more. Obviously, we got a lot of grenade synergies going on here, and Timed Payload is going to give me infinite range. Then I've got Deafening Whisper as my special. Now, this was fantastic because it vibes with all of the Void stuff I'm doing, and Wellspring is going to give me my abilities back as well. However, there was really no Void shields in this entire strike, so the Forbearance, if you have it, to deal with those Arc Shielded Knights is a great idea. Moving on from there, I'm using the Galahorn, and we'll go over just why in a sec. But in terms of my mods, I was using firstly the Heart of Inmost Light as my featured exotic. This is going to empower my other abilities and make them recharge faster whenever I utilize a certain ability. Now, importantly, this is a Void element, so I can utilize a Void damage resist and then put on the seasonal Thermoshock plating so I have all of the different damage resists on. Then, again, in terms of my mods, I've got Seeking Wells, very, very good in Grandmasters. Like, a lot of people are using Elemental Well builds normally, but Seeking Wells means that you can still be behind cover and still activate all of your mods, which was fantastic. Volatile Flow, very good with the Deafening Whisper, as you can imagine. Well of Tenacity for a little bit more damage resistance. Font of Might to increase the damage of the Deafening Whisper, and Elemental Ordnance. Obviously, we've got longer lasting grenades that are causing weaken. Like, it's very easy to get grenade kills even in Grandmasters, so that's how I'm spawning my orbs. Now, as you saw, I'm only able to deal with the unstoppable champions with my hand cannon, but that is because my other two teammates have barriers covered. So my first other teammate was Nightstalker Hunter, and they were using Vortex Grenades as well. And the aspects were firstly Trapper's Ambush to give invisibility to themselves and teammates potentially, and Vanishing Step for more invisibility whenever they would dodge. That is combined with the Echo of Undermining, again for that weaken effect. Echo of Persistence, so that invisibility lasts longer, and then Echo of Obscurity, so that finishers will also grant invisibility. This guy was invisible for the entire Grandmaster. In terms of weaponry, Arbalest is unbelievable at not only taking down those barrier champion shields, but just different shields in general. Then utilizing the Insidious as a fantastic arc Pulse Rifle to deal with those unstoppable champions. And again, there was a lot of arc shields within this Grandmaster. And then just a Palmyra B as a great rocket launcher. Then moving on from there, The exotic armor is the Aeon Swifts. Now, these have been around for quite a while. With the Sect of Insight, you can cause heavy ammo to drop for your teammates when you finish a champion or boss enemy. However, these are better than ever because of all of the invisibility effects that we showed earlier. So how easy is it to run up to a champion and finish them when you're completely invisible? And in fact, your invisibility lasts long enough and reapplies so you can make a quick and easy getaway after you've gotten the finisher. But guys, the insanity doesn't stop there, because Aeon Swifts actually combine with the Lucian Finisher seasonal mod, which says defeating a Lucian Hive Lightbearer or a champion with your finisher spawns heavy ammo for you and your allies. And as you'll see in the background gameplay, again, they stack. So whenever this guy gets a finisher, it spawns 2 heavy bricks. 2. And that right there is why I'm using the Galahorn. I'm basically using it as a darn primary. I never even got close to running out of ammo with that thing. It was actually insane. So this is definitely a build I would highly recommend you guys run. In terms of some other mods here, we kind of just have the usual stuff, you know, Seeking Wells again. We've got Reaping Wellmaker, because he's utilizing his dodge so much to go invisible, and then some Bountiful Wells to spawn just even more wells. All of that stuff is good to go. But moving on, our Warlock was running Shadebinder, specifically with Cold Snaps, Bleak Watcher as the first aspect, so amazing in PvE, and then Glacial Harvest to spawn all of those Stasis Shards, then Whisper of Fissures to increase the damage of those frozen bursts. Then we've got Whisper of Conduction, so those shards will seek to you. Very good, again, when you need to remain behind cover in a Grandmaster. Whisper of Bonds for more super energy, and Whisper of Torment for more grenade energy. Then, in terms of weaponry, they're running the Fell Terradiddle. I actually love this thing, with Archer's Tempo plus Explosive Head, just to deal with those barriers, and just a great roll overall. Another Insidious, like this is probably one of the better, if not the best, Arc Pulse you can run in this Nightfall. And then, of course, another Galahorn, right? 2 Galahorns, and we are both, again, yeeting them nonstop thanks to our Aeon plus Lucian Hunter. And then we're using the Osmiancy Gloves here as our main exotic. This gives you 2 Cold Snap Grenades. And yes, that means you can have 2 Bleak Watcher turrets down, and they're both can be alive at the same time. Just insane. Use the Elemental Shards mod to turn all of those shards you're spawning with Glacial Harvest into essentially picking up Elemental Wells. That lets you trigger Elemental Charge to become charged with light unbelievably easily, and then you can utilize something like Protective Light here. Even though it's only a 10% resistance, 10% is better than nothing. And also, it's going to work with Striking Light here. Striking Light has a secondary ability, which is going to increase your damage resistance when you're sprinting. A very slept on, but a very good PvE mod. But let's move on from there and talk about some general tips when actually doing this strike. First and foremost, you're going to notice that Acute Arc Burn as a mod is apparently on, which gives 25% bonus arc damage dealt, but 50% bonus arc damage received, even though Bungie, as you can see, specifically said it would not apply within Grandmaster Nightfalls. So I'm not sure if they changed their mind or this is yet another oversight this season, but it's on. So really be careful against the Wizards and the Boomer Knights. They are going to shoot arc at you and you can be clapped in an instance. So potentially putting on double arc damage resist is the play, or at least 1 arc damage resist is basically necessary. But aside from that, guys, this strike was pretty incredibly straightforward. I would really just encourage you to, if you are running similar loadouts and you are getting as much heavy as we were getting, use your heavy very liberally. If there's one thing I regret, it was just not using enough heavy. Like, I would constantly leave heavy bricks behind because I was already full. So especially anytime you see a wizard, again, to avoid getting shot by the arc damage, just yeet those Galahorns at that wizard and kill it in no time. Whenever you see a big group of adds, yeet a Galahorn at it. Don't even question it, just shoot it. However, I will say when you get to this section here where you have to dismantle the 3 different hive runes on the ground, I would highly recommend sticking together as a team. Normally you would split up in lower difficulty strikes, but this is the time to stick together. As we move forward into the strike, another tip I want to mention, and this was brought up right here by my teammate who like one-shot killed the Shrieker with his rocket, and it was actually the guy using the Palmyra rocket. Remember, those rockets, you know, if you're the guy using Arbalest, if you're not using a Galahorn, those rockets do extra damage against vehicles, and Shriekers actually count as vehicles. So make sure, if you are the guy using a Haka rocket, be shooting those Shriekers because you can kill them in no time. Moving on from there, this elevator part is going to cause a lot of people a lot of trouble because it's pretty hard to avoid the shots that are coming in at you. Just remember that there's generally 1/3 of this circle where you are safe and the other 2/3 the enemies are spawning, and you're gonna see, like, to avoid getting clapped, just shoot a couple Galahorn rounds. Like, honestly, it doesn't seem like it's worth shooting a Galahorn round into a window to kill a couple of Acolytes, but they can definitely hit you when you're trying to find cover, because also stuff like, you know, a well, a towering barricade, that is going to sink into the ground as the elevator moves up. So the normal stuff that you use to save yourself doesn't work here. So just being very vigilant and going out of your way to kill these enemies as fast as possible with those Galahorns, not the worst idea. And then lastly, guys, for the boss fight, this is a bit of a doozy. There's going to be a lot of enemies here. This is really where my bubble came into play. It was very helpful to duck into that and avoid being shot by, for example, the Boomer Knights. But there's also a little cheeky spot you can hide in right here where you see my teammate go, where you can potentially, you know, wait for an ability or a super to recharge, get some respite if you're the last alive. That can potentially help you guys out. So hanging out and holding out in this kind of back corner, kind of near that cheese spot, is what I would recommend doing. Let the enemies kind of come to you. Just be aware that as you go through the phases of the boss, there is going to be a part where the two unstoppable champions spawn at the same time. Really try to stun them both at the same time and just yeet over multiple Galahorns and just deal with them all at once. Yes, you may want to save your heavy for the boss, but honestly, like, the champions and so on are going to be the problem here. Those are the guys you want to prioritize with your heavy. You can kill the boss with whatever. It's pretty easy to just avoid the boss's shots behind cover and so on. It's not so easy to avoid the unstoppable champions when there's two of them charging at you and going right into your bubble. You know what I'm saying? So definitely use the heavy on the champs. And that's really it, guys. Remember, on that third wave, when the boss is at that final 1/3 chunk of her health, enemies are going to be spawning, but there's going to be no more champions, at least for us, so you are able to melt the boss and ignore the rest of the enemies if you do have enough heavy to do so. And then, as you can see, you're going to finish the Grandmaster with a platinum rating if you do that fast enough. And again, just a way to avoid all the enemies spawning if you have enough heavy, which, again, you should. So guys, that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.